Will Israel be a democratic, liberal country? Will Israel be a messianic, Jewish supremacy country?
How did we get into this balagan, or this mess called Israel?
In the 7th of October happened something that not happened like 2,000 years.
It was a brutal, terrible thing from the point of view of cruelty.
1,200 people died in one day just because one reason, because they are burned to a Jewish mother.
And it affected everybody. It was like a slap on the face.
That they came in here and, burned and mutilated women and children.
One of the most dramatic terror attacks. People used to compare it to 9/11.
The 7/10 happened because 57 years of occupation.
We discovered that Gaza Strip is just one big terrorist camp.
We never experienced this fear of Israel being destroyed. So when people experience this severe trauma, they immediately go back to almost being animals. Like, I will kill you if you'll touch me. But it's not sustainable.
The fascists get much more fascist. And even people around me, it was hard for them to stay activist and to support the Palestinians. It took them more to the right.
When our nation is in this situation that we're fighting each other, this is a time when someone from outside will attack us. And I think that it's what happened in the 7th of October.
My position back in the army and also back in the service and also in the reserve is a climbing, rappelling, rescuing instructor in the counter-terror unit. This morning, we went with the families of the hostages to one of the main roads of Israel, and we blocked the road. Natalie, she's a sister of Matan Zangauka, who is in captive, and she went down rappelling, telling Bibi, stop sabotaging the deal. We entered the war of October 7th with a war within Israel for democracy. So we were fighting in the streets. We had a big protest trying to prevent Netanyahu and his government from making Israel not a democracy anymore. The whole family got drafted, except for my mother, who was working and volunteering and doing whatever she could. All my friends are drafted. Some of my friends were killed during the war, and there is a whole mess, and you don't really know what you feel about it. You don't even have the time to grieve. And everything is kind of depressing. And then I went on after really not being in a protest for a really long time. I was disappointed, I would say, that I didn't see more people. I'm saying, that is insane. I have to be here. This is the war. This is where I'm needed. This is I would say this is my reserve.
We have many conflicts in Israel. A better known one is the external conflict that you can see with Hamas, with Iran, with Hezbollah. Then you have the internal conflicts between, I would say, almost 4 groups. One is the liberal, mainly secular Israelis that kind of started the country. Then you have the religious messianic, that really believe in the laws of the Torah, of the Bible. They want only a Jewish religious education. They're very racist by definition. They really believe in Jewish supremacy. Then you have another group, also religious. They are the ultra-Orthodox. They might look like one group, but there's actually at least 150 groups, and they actually hate each other among them. But they are anti-Zionist by definition. They don't see the state of Israel as a place that they should work for. They don't serve in the army. They hardly pay any taxes. We are their ATM. They are only here because they can suck money from Israel, but they don't want to do anything for Israel. And the other group that we can define is the Israeli Arabs. You can actually divide them by two. There is a lot of Israeli Arabs that are proud Israelis. They want to live in this country. And there's a group of Israeli Arabs, Israeli Palestinians that want a Palestinian state.
I am 18 years old, and in 2 days I will be in jail.
Why?
Because I'm refusing to be part of killing system, to be a part of the Israeli army. The refusing is important because I'm sending a message for the Israelis and the Palestinians, for the Israelis to start to say no to this system, to think about it and to learn about what we are doing in our name. And the Palestinians, that it's very important for them to know that there are Israelis that are accepting to pay a personal price for the anti-occupation.
אנחנו מחוץ לבקו"ם בתל השומר, זה מצחיק, יש פה היום שתי הפגנות. הפגנה שלנו על הסירוב בסולידריות עם הסרבנים, ואחרי זה התברר שיש פה גם הפגנה של חרדים, המון חרדים. כי המכתבים שהצבא שלח לצו ראשון ל1,000 חרדים שיבואו הם להיום בשביל הבדיקות, אז הם מפגינים פה ומנסים למנוע מהם להיכנס. הולך להיות מאוד מעניין. בבקשה,
במלחמה הנפטרת, חלום, חוריה, עגלי, שמעיה. כמרת הכל נסיים את המלחמה. אני יובל ואוריה ניכנס השבוע לכלא.
I'm 18 years old. And I refuse to be complicit in genocide. I'm going to refuse and go to military prison. Many Palestinian kids, much younger than me, who go to jail in much harsher conditions for much longer time. And my message to the Palestinian people, we see our pain, we know we are here for the day when we can make a better future together.
בוני הדור שיסיים את הכיבוש, ניפגש בכלא 10. אוהב.
סיימנו עכשיו את ההפגנה, ובאו כל מיני אנשים שבאו לראות, ועכשיו הם צועקים עלינו, כמו שאפשר לראות.
אני כיף לדבר איתך בזמני הפנים.
לא, תענה לי אבל. היית רוצה שיתפסו אותם ויערפו אותם? אתה לא יכול לענות לי, למה זה לא?
די למלחמה.
אלה שם שומרים לך לתחת, הם מזדהים לתחת.
I started my career as Netanyahu's head of security. I was in the Israeli Secret Service. I worked with him as his head of security, and then I became an entrepreneur. And last January, when Netanyahu and his government starting the anti-democratic coup attempt, and I started to be very active in the protest movement. And Netanyahu is a political, selfish animal. Netanyahu's specialty is always to find a line and to create two groups, like the best dictators.
It's not only the country is divided, It's that even the families of the hostages are divided between the families who actually believe Netanyahu is going to bring the hostages back and the families who say, you know, he had 10 months to do so and he didn't, so he must be the one responsible of not having a deal. And I tend to think that this is exactly the problem.
Now the situation is disaster. We have this fascist government.
It's like a fascist 101. He's taking control over the media, he's taking control over the police, he's trying to change the laws for the court, he's trying to keep the situation of chaos, of war, of whatever mess is going on, because he wants to keep himself in charge, and that helps him to escape. He's on trial for corruption, bribery, like crimes he allegedly did.
Bibi is trying to take us to a regional war with Iran, with Syria, with Lebanon, to keep the war. The only thing that keeps him on his chair is the war.
For Ben Gvir, Smotrich, and all the messianic thing, October 7th is actually a blessing. But they see it as a great opportunity because they are, in their believe in this kind of Armageddon environment, which is a huge war between Jews and Christians and Muslims and all that. But then Netanyahu, he brought them into the core of his government, giving them the responsibility of internal security. Itamar Ben Gvir, Bezalel Smotrich, his partner, he gave him the control of the money in the country.
For me, they are neo-Nazis or Judo-Nazi. Their dream is land for Jewish only. We have the settlers. They murdered Palestinians. They invaded their houses. They stole lands. They stole everything. Basically, they can do everything without nothing will happen to them. There is no Palestinians here now, just Jewish terrorists. Here the terrorists coming to us. The Jewish terrorists.
Nice.
October 7th essentially gave the settlers and the government a golden opportunity to pursue objectives that they've been pursuing before, but to do it much more intensively. It's turbocharged now, what they're doing throughout the West Bank. And what are these objectives? These objectives are essentially taking over as much land as possible while forcibly transferring as many Palestinians as possible.
But this is my land.
But this is my house.
I was given it by God.
What you want?
You are my bitch.
That has been the goal for many dozens of years, long before October 7th. The clear facts show that the Israeli government funds, supports, gives political backing, gives logistical backing, and lots of other forms of legitimization to the most violent elements of the settlement project.
I'm working in this area for almost 8 years, and it was quiet and nice. Since the Jewish terrorist gangs came here and in a purpose to make ethnic cleansing in this area, but you can see so many Palestinians having fun. And this is one of the last places they have running water, have ability to go to water. All the other places were already occupied by the Israelis.
When I started to go to the West Bank to do protective presence, it was very shocking. I knew about the occupation, but to see the operation in your eyes, it's crazy.
Can you explain who is this?
Yeah, it's me. It's not so complicated.
How come you quit from being Orthodox?
I don't really know how it's happened. It's like a long process over the years. בגיל 12, כילד חרדי, 11-12, התחלתי לחשוב והבנתי שבשביל להיות חלק אמיתי מהחברה הישראלית, אני חייב לשרת בצבא, והחלטתי לשרת. החלטתי שאני הולך להתגייס. ואז בעצם התחלתי תהליך של חשיבה, וזה היה שני תהליכים בעצם, אחד פוליטי ואחד אמוני, שהם בעצם היו משולבים אחד בשני, כי אני עזבתי את הדת, כאילו, כי אין שוויון בדת, כזה הפסקתי להגיד את הברכה שלא עשה לי אישה, ואז בסוף אתה מבין שזה לא הדרך שלך. אתה יוצא לשטח, רואה עוד יותר רוע, עוד יותר רוע, אז נגמרים החיים שלך. אתה רק אקטיביסט שעוד ינצח בסוף.
עד כן, אז תן לי את הסרבן החולני בבקשה. תראה לנו אותו.
האמת היא שאי אפשר לשנות את הדיכוי והכיבוש מתוך צה"ל, זו המדיניות של הממשלה. את המדיניות הממשלה אפשר לשנות רק באמצעות מאבק.
תמר, למה אתה הולך לכלא? למה אתה לא הולך לצבא?
לא, אני לא מוכן להיות חלק מהצבא, אין סיכוי, אני לשם לא
אז אתה תלך לצבא, שאנחנו מתקשרים לך, אתה יודע מה המצב שלנו, אתה יכול לבוא לעזור לנו.
אני אהיה קצין ואני אבוא לפה. רעיון.
זה רעיון, נכון?
וואלה, כן.
זה רעיון.
סתם, אין סיכוי, אני לא נכנס. את המדים הירוקים אני לא שם עליי. אין סיכוי.
ביי. ביי, להתראות.
ביי.
שלום.
In the Bible, there's many expression that God promised this land to the Israel nation. And it's not a logical explanation. It's something from history, because this is our place. There's no place that the Israel nation can live as a nation. More than 2,000 years, Jews around the world only dream to come back to Israel, and now we live on this 2,000 dreams. There's time to walk in these mountains and these hills. We call it Geulah.
I believe that the area between the Euphrates and the Nile is the promised land. People say from the river to the sea, but the rivers I speak about are far away from the river that people are using in their propaganda.
It's a religious belief. People think we'll be okay because God is with us. This is what's so hard for people to understand. Like when Hamas are flying, raiding into Israel, and they know that they will die, this is because God is with them. But this is what Daniela thinks. So Daniela is rebuilding the land that God gave her, and God will make everything all right.
Most of the force of the Hamas is defeated. This is for sure.
I think that there's no other choice but to move forward and try to re-educate and rebuild the society in Gaza.
I don't like this plan. I know the plan.
So you need to have a big gun, but you need to have also a little carrot, and hopefully
move the Hamas and bring someone that will be, we hope, act like a human being.
The Palestinian people themselves will realize that allowing these jihadistic fundamentalists destroys them.
I don't like this plan because I don't believe them, that they want to be human beings. They want to kill us.
There is no honest, innocent
civilians in Gaza Strip, period.
We need to understand what we're dealing with. These are not people, these are animals.
They show the tunnels. I see like tunnels of rats. Small places. What is it for? It is for killing Jews.
So when there is evil, the solution is to move the evil, not the solution, the only solution.
So I want to take the definition of Zionism and the idea of Zionism. I want to take it and transplant it in Gaza. Copy, paste.
And also, I have a personal recommendation for the Palestinian civilians. You are not welcome here. You more than invited to leave. First of all, historical. Palestinians is not a people, it's not a nation.
This is the fate of war. And the people in Gaza will have to move to other places. Not only will they have to, they want to.
There's no difference between Hezbollah and Lebanon. All the army of the Hezbollah, all his missiles are still over there, and they want to launch them on us. So we have to go over there and defeat him.
The radical Islam understand when you punish them. But if we're going to take territory in Gaza Strip and also take territory in the north between Lebanon and Israel, the terrorists are going to understand.
We really do believe since the beginning of Israel that we are the most moral army in the world. So sometimes when we hear people saying, you know, you're doing this and that in Gaza, we don't want to believe that that is something an Israeli soldier could do.
People saying that the Israeli army is the most moral army in the world, I mean, unfortunately, it has to be dismissed as either delusional or either wishful thinking, that's one option, or just simply a lie.
It's not true that many are killed over there without. I know, I was in the headquarters.
We murdered something like 16,000 children.
We take like all of the security steps to make sure that innocent people won't hurt, but still, it's a war. It's a war zone.
Israel is conducting a war of revenge, which includes atrocities, which includes war crimes and crimes against humanity in Gaza. Individual soldiers and commanders and units are also involved in war crimes on the individual level. They're, in fact, in some cases, videoing their war crimes and putting them up on social media.
Demolition.
So it's very, very easy for somebody in the United States, you know, who lives in the middle of New York, say where I'm from, or really anywhere else, or Los Angeles, to say, oh, Israel shouldn't fight back, you know, you can't kill civilians, you should do it in another way. What is the other way?
Even after what we've been through, we heard people saying around the world that we deserved it, and like free Palestine, or they hate Jews, or they just don't know the difference between good or bad.
So you shouldn't come to us and lecture us about war and about how it will torment our souls. I don't think the American or the British are hunted by what they did in Germany. And I personally not going to be hunted, but it is a tragedy.
And we've essentially been applying principles very much like the ones we say Hamas is using against us.
When I see the silence of the Israeli, I can understand how the Holocaust happens. Because the Israeli or the German, most of the German wasn't Nazis. But their silence gave the Nazis ability to do what they've done.
Part of the problem is that the world doesn't see what we see from inside of Israel, and they blame us for being immoral, or they blame us for doing things that we don't necessarily know we do.
It's not that they don't know, they don't want to see, because today you can see everything.
We actually don't care, because we can't. We've just been so close to having a civil war inside of Israel, doing an outside war, that we don't even have the capacity to actually understand what's going on outside of the borders of Israel.
It's not possible to have a democracy inside Israel, but then extend this military dictatorship over Palestinians for dozens of years. You cannot have democracy if you're also occupying.
המצב של השמאל בישראל, כן, סיפור עצוב. יש לך את האנשים שהם מאוד בעד דמוקרטיה, אבל הם דלאבים, שזה דמוקרטיה ליהודים בלבד. יש לך, כן, שמאלנים של מוצ"ש. I celebrate with my friends. Yeah, we eat pizza and drink beer and rum. It was fun. This morning we going to jail. Yeah, do you want to come with me?
כלומר, אתה יודע שכאילו אם אתה רוצה להיות פוליטיקאי וכזה, אתה צריך להשאיר את אוצר המילים שלך, כשאתה מתקשר.
וואו, באמת?
כן.
The big price that you pay and the refusing is not to enter jail for a few months. I don't really know how much, like in the society, you're paying the big price of being like a traitor.
How this will affect your family?
It's not fun to say that your son is in jail and for being a leftist. Oh, for killing, okay, but for being a leftist.
בואו נחשוב על זה, נחשוב על זה. שנייה. אנחנו באים לבקו"ם, ויגידו לך אופציות של בוא תהיה...
שום דבר, זה חלק מצבא הכיבוש.
אדונות, רק תחשוב. תחשוב.
אני אחשוב.
תחשוב.
ואז אני אגיד.
תחשוב.
בואי, הולכים.
אין דברים כאלה בעולם. מלך.
נכון? איך השיער? יפה.
אתה מסתיר את המצלמה.
יא,
בני בוא.
נעלמת שאת לא יכולה לעשות
תמר, תחזור, תצא ברגל ימין.
ותנשק את המזוזה.
זה אני לא אמרתי.
אז זה אני אמרתי.
היא אמרה.
מה רגל ימין אני הולך? אבא שלי בצבא במילואים, אבל הוא פה. אני חושב שהוא אוהב אותי ומכבד את הבחירה שלי כמה שהוא יכול.
How I feel, I'm a bit nervous, but we'll be okay, yeah, we'll be fine.
יאללה, זה בסדר. יהיה לנו פה עוד הרבה פעמים. אני חושב שזה לא כמו שתראו אותי בכלא בכלא.